So those who have been following some of my other videos, the outdoor kitchen is complete, all but some stuff we're going to buy yet, some cabinetry and setup for the TV. That's not even the TV that's going to be there. We just did that so the cable guy could get it installed. We're going to have a TV up on the wall there. And the big thing is getting all of this stuff pressure washed. My wife, Dorothy, pressure washed her foot. Gave herself a pretty good abrasion with it. It's a pretty Haas pressure washer on loan from a friend, and tried to tell her about the dangers of it. She didn't really listen. She was using flip-flops instead of covered shoes when she's doing this. And shot herself in the foot, poor trigger discipline, and but we got about half of that done. And we will endeavor to get the rest of it done in the next week or so. And we're going to then bleach this side, just a little bit of bleach to lighten it up. You can see the new versus the old color of concrete. And you have a pro in here to stain it, because once you stain it, it's like staining those countertops down there. We're good to go. So that's kind of our Zone 0 we're designing, I guess. Got some perennial herbs here. I've started to get some of those planted. You can see I got some thyme, German thyme planted there. It's one of my favorite herbs. There's some sage planted in here too. This is white Egyptian fig that was propagated for me by a friend, and it also is one of those figs that finally has made it through a winter. So that's great. Hardened off enough to do that. Nasturtium in here. This is what I want to really show you in this area. These are goji berries, and I think if you look at the video from a week ago to today, you can see some difference in the growth of this stuff. I mean, it is, and it's sending up shoots. Remember talking about self-replication? Now here's the thing, Dana, come on, move out the way. If you wanted to make a plant here right now, there's two ways to do it. You can cut this, put it in a root in moist soil really easily. The other way would be just dig down until you get to the roots, pull it up, and you can plant it. People pay between $15 and $20 a plant for that plant. It's just a super nutraceutical, pretty good tasting too. I have learned since growing them though, they don't taste that good fresh. I guess the reason they sell them dried is not only do they store better that way, they taste a lot better. The sweetness concentrates in them. No flowers yet. Those are peach or nectarine flowers, or plum flower. That's, what is that? I don't remember now. That's a plum with a pink blossom of some sort. Drop it down here. You can see again the apples in this system have not started to break bud yet, unlike some of the other ones we showed you just starting. But man, that is just on fire with growth this year, because the ducks really didn't hammer it, but they would just eat all the new growth off of it, and they never really let it get ahead. Little sage bush, they'll come in down there. And swings for the grandkids. Dana, you are annoying today. You are going to play kick the cat if you're not careful, even by accident. Stop it. Good Lord. More of the sunflowers just showing up from the bird feeders. And in here, the only place I've been able to have lamb's quarters has been inside these little fences, because the ducks love them. But you can see since they were growing in there, they are just from seed drop. It's all over. Everybody sees a weed. I see food. That is definitely a food, and this is like the best time of year for it. As they get up a little bit bigger, you know, they are just fantastic sauteed or in salads. That right there is about the perfect size leaf, but when that plant gets about that high, you just cut the whole thing off and saute it, and it's everywhere. And when you let a couple of them get big, what you do is cut them off, and they kind of coppice back, and you cut the sprouts. That'll extend your season with lamb's quarters. There's one right there will probably let you become an adult. It looks like the most healthy one for seed for next year. See if the koi want to be seen. I'm out here talking, so they probably all ran off and hid. They're up in the pickerel rush spawning when I came by earlier, but I guess I done chased them off. Let's go over here and take a look at the top of the steel pond system. And I think I found my way to grow watercress from here on out. That's just shoved into some pea gravel in a pot and then allowed to grow on the surface. And I've got watercress all over the place in ebb and flow beds and things like that. I have never seen watercress this healthy and this happy, and it's, you know, it's providing a function. It's also creating shade for the fish and the minnows and breeding habitat for them. It's filtering the water. You guys have seen the water clarity in this system. It's kind of ridiculous. As I've said, all you need for good water clarity in a system is biology. I mean, there's probably some dirt in there from the freaking jar, right? A couple snails. Bullhead snails. Let me show you what I'm thinking about doing with bullhead snails, right? So this is my bullhead tank, and I notice there's no snails in it. With my power of observation, I've seen snails in that center block because the bullheads can't get in there. Well, why don't we put snails in there? And we have a little colony of snails in there. Maybe we put a second one of those in. And eventually, you know, they're going to crawl up and go exploring, and the chomp comes. I'm also propagating some salvinia in there because the daggone bullheads eat it. Well, that's another thing we could do is just, you know, put a little bucket in here, a little cinder block, something like that. It walls them off, propagate their salvinia. They like to eat it, fine. Boom, bam. I didn't know bullheads ate vegetation, but I've learned by keeping some in this tank, they absolutely do. I talked about having too many water chestnuts. You can see there's that pot there. That is just crammed, and it's probably too crammed. I mean, really, a pot like that, you want to propagate water chestnut in it, you put one water chestnut in the middle. That's all you got to do. Most productive plant by square foot in the world, Chinese water chestnut. I think last week, maybe this arugula was just starting to show up, so now you can see it starting to grow out. Peppers are looking okay. Cucumbers, I think I just planted. I bought like one cucumber plant for $3 at the, you know, Bonnie's stuff from Home Depot, Lowe's. It was Lowe's, definitely. And there was like freaking, the guy that planted that one must have thrown a handful in there. It was like 20 dadgone little cucumbers in there. So I went ahead and bought it and split them out and put some in my aquaponics system, some in my wicking beds, and some here. And I mean, that's all from one, and they all look healthy. You probably can't let 3 grow there. Probably have to knock one off, maybe 2 off. And that's the same with these guys down here. Now, I've sowed garlic chives, and garlic chives have been the least successful germination of anything that I've done. And it looks like maybe we have 1 and maybe 2. So if I get garlic chives in this bed, I'll be happy. Maybe. Why maybe? I have started to already have a situation with this one backing up, and I'm thinking that using these as wicking beds may not be long-term viable. I did use 2 of them indoors, and they made it through the whole winter, but I was running water really slowly through them, you know, and here I need to keep a better flow rate. So I may end up having to break down and convert these to ebb and flow beds, which may work better with the paint trays with the solid base that we've put in this year. The other option would be to put these on a timer, so they run, let's say, for 15 minutes, and then let your major water return be there. So we just maintain them. The other way to do it would be with a float valve. That would be kind of overkill for such a small wicking bed. So I'm not sure. When I took the 2 apart, they were fine. There was a little tiny hint of anaerobic in the bottom. But overall, since they were set up for 3 months, I think they did pretty good. Now, I might be overreacting to this because today when I had this blocking up, I ran some water through it and all, and I stuck my paw down in there, and I tried to take that fitting out to lower the water level because just the bulkhead level is probably enough, and I got to find my vice grips and try that anyway. But I found a couple leaves in there. So it may just be my backup has been because detritus has been falling in there, and it may be just as simple as covering it. And it's not a problem I've ever had before, but with these oaks dropping stuff overhead, maybe I didn't think about that. Most of my stuff like this has been inside of protected environments. So we're learning from that too. Pickerel rush is looking good. Give us a moment. We'll make this not a full property walk, but I got some other things I want to show you.